So you see here, I can go ahead and adjust the tension knob and take this out. And what I've done is I've dropped in some glass filters. Now, these are available from a wide range of manufacturers, but essentially they allow you to apply things like ND filters. Remember, if you're shooting DSLR video and you want to open that aperture all the way up, particularly if you're shooting with a full frame sensor outdoors, you're going to get too much light in the camera. Because when you're shooting things like DSLR video, you have to go with things like shutter speeds of a 50th or a 60th of a second. So this particular matte box has two filter frames, meaning that you could stack the filters up. The other thing is the French flags, and you see that these actually bend. I'll go ahead and adjust this a little bit towards the camera there so you can see it better. And these allow you to go ahead and adjust to keep reflections off the lens. So as we're working with that, that's going to allow us to go ahead and cut down on things like lens flare. Remember, lens flare is going to reduce the overall effectiveness and the contrast inside the image. The other thing that we have are some neoprene rings. And I'll take a look here. I'll just pull the camera out for a second. There we go. And what you see here is a ring, and you're going to get different sizes. These slip over the front of the lens here. I'm going with one that's a nice snug fit so it doesn't move around much, and then I'll just flip that forward. There we go. And that creates some tension, and you just sort of fold that and tuck it inside the matte box. Now it takes a little bit of pushing and trickery, but there we go. I've got that in place. We'll just tighten down the camera plate there, and let me just turn that so you can see a little bit better. And what we have there is a good seal protecting light from coming from the back of the camera and getting in there. This is going to give you better control over exposure and also cut down on any unwanted reflections across the lens. Okay. Now, this whole thing comes with a 2-year warranty, very sturdy, and I like the fact that it folds flat if you need to pack with it. The other thing I'm using here is a follow focus system. I'll twirl this here for a second so it's a little easier to see. And what we've done here is we've attached a plastic gear, and this just has a simple thumb screw onto the focus collar for the lens. This is going to make it easy to make fine adjustments. We line that up and push it so the gear is engaged, and then tighten it down. Now, depending upon all the pieces, you might find yourself sliding things forward or backwards a little bit. Like in this case, I'm just going to engage that and push the camera plate forward about 1 millimeter. There we go. Gear is engaged. Tighten it down. Good. And as I turn that, what's happening is the focus controls are being adjusted. Now this is a stepped gear, so larger movement with the wheel turns into very small movement with the gear. This is important because it allows you to make subtle adjustments. Touching the ring itself and cranking on it is going to be too gross, and it's going to create really dramatic changes. This is finer control, so if you need to do a gentle rack focus, you can. The other thing that's quite nice is we actually have these two stops. What happens with a follow focus is you want to adjust the focus for different positions. You maybe have heard the phrase hitting your mark. What happens is you put the actor or your subject in their starting position and you adjust the focus so you have it. And that works well. I say, all right, that's where I want them to start. And I put the stop in place. Then I have them move to their next position and I adjust. And when I find the mark that I want to hit, right about there, I just pull this to the ending position. And what you see there are 2 pins. So now as it rocks, I can go between those 2 pins, and without even looking at the focus wheel, I know when I've hit my mark. So for example, if I don't have an assistant with me and I'm shooting and I'm looking through the viewfinder, I can go ahead and as I'm making my adjustments, hit my 2 marks. And I start to get feedback as I hit those positions. Now, you're not restricted. You can actually crank past those, but it's going to give you enough of a feedback when you hit that position so you know that you've hit the mark. And then if you need to, just gently keep turning and it will release the tension and you can go past it. So this is really flexible. Now, the last part we have here is the actual mount itself. You could take this and connect this directly to the tripod, giving you the rail system, and you've got the flags and everything attached. What we have here are carbon rods using industry standard 15mm bars, making it easy to attach additional accessories. But we also have grip handles, so when I'm ready to put this on my shoulder, you see that I've got a comfortable shoulder pad and I've got my grips. Nice, really comfortable, spongy grips that are sturdy. So if I have to go one-handed and let go, it's still a stable platform. This allows me to go ahead, get that, tighten them down so I'm satisfied with their position, feels good, and then I can engage things like the follow focus. I could also put a loop or an eyepiece here and have a very stable rig and use my body for the camera movements. This allows you to move with the shot. So instead of handheld and jiggly, turn your body and pan. Bend the knees and lift up to follow the action. And this is going to really help you stabilize the overall shot. Go ahead and turn the release, push the button, and then slide the camera back. And you just have to gently push it, but it'll clear the trigger mechanism, comes right out, and then you can go ahead and transfer this. So you need to go to a traditional tripod. You've got a pretty standard plate there. So in all, very flexible system. Now remember, a tripod is a great place to start, but when you graduate and you want to start getting into camera movement and having more flexibility with your shots and the design for your overall video, this is going to be a very effective starting kit.
As you can see here, that I'm going to take to Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week Spring 2013. So let's take a look at some of the things that we have here that are pretty cool and essential to DSLR shooters.
The Flashpoint DSLR Shoulder Rig Pro 2. The Flashpoint Follow Focus Pro 2. The Flashpoint+Mattebox System Pro 2. The Flashpoint 7-inch TFT LCD Field Monitor. The Flashpoint 312 LED light is great for either shooting in tungsten or daylight. Using the shoulder rig, the Mattebox and Mattebox cover, the Follow Focus dual color LED light, I was able to shoot very detailed and well lit video.
The line is beautiful. The collection is inspired by sort of Helmut Newton Polaroid book, which is very kind of sexual and sensual, and it sort of shows a woman's inner strength mixed with lingerie. We have a lot of really beautiful fabrication. We have silk crepe, we have beautiful engineered prints. It's really a collection that sort of stands for DNA of the brand.
When using the Flashpoint 7-inch TFT LCD field monitor with the follow focus, I was able to get really clean, tight, and detailed shots. Also including the matte box on the rig, notice that there's no glare in the lens. Shoulder rig and follow focus is awesome for any DSLR camera. When using this rig, I was able to shoot very clean and very smooth. All of these items stood up to backstage at Fashion Week 2013. These are great rigs to use in the field for all DSLR cameras.